is gonna be Lulu Shen up against Lulu Quinn. So the Lulu mirror is going on and the game has begun right now. Who is gonna be the champion of this Trails of Targon?
Let's see. I personally favored in this matchup, as you have already noticed, the Lulu Queen list.
Yeah, the Lulu Queen list looks really great, and I believe, you know, right after this, lots of players gonna play the Lulu Queen.
Yeah, isn't that how it basically goes? After someone wins a tournament with a deck, everyone is going to spawn it on ladder next day.
So here we have Blackhole not having the turn 1, thus passing the turn back to Pynex. Does Pynex have that turn 1, being a good Demacia player he is?
That's how you define a good Demacia player, if they have a 1-drop.
Yeah, so
I guess so.
So Pynex having that Fleet Feather Tracker. Does Pynex have that 2 drops? Blackhole having that Fleet Feather Tracker coming in late, passing the turn back to Blackhole into round number 3 into Fleet Feather Tracker.
Well, he can manage to buff that Fleet Feather Tracker if his opponent decides to drop anything. Or he can just drop a 2-drop and clear the Fleet Feather Tracker, and that might be it. He can also push 1 additional damage because he decides to go for the Young Witch. It's elusive. If his opponent doesn't have an elusive, which is his own Young Witch, this Young Witch is going to get through.
Yep, and here comes a Lauren Prodigy. The Young Witch is probably in trouble right now.
Yes, because on board technically Blackhole has the advantage, but the value of the units is bigger for Pynex. Just having a 2-force slammed on the board, being able to trade maybe not just 1 unit, maybe 2 units with only single card is huge, and might swing the tides of battle into his favor.
Exactly, I totally agree with you on this one. And he's going for the relentless pursuit, trying to kill off the Lauren Prodigy, maintaining the Young Witch on the board for this turn.
There is one simple question. Does Pynex have his Rangers resolved? Oh my god!
Oh, he has it! He has that Rangers resolve. He gets the trade of that Fleet Feather Tracker, and the Young Witch is going down the next turn. It seems like Blackhole is in a really dark hole right now.
He has to. He actually has the supporter.
So there we have it. The Young Witch from Pynex.
Do more.
And a Bright Steel Protector. There is no need to give that Lauren Prodigy the quick attack over here. And pushing in 5 damage.
5. As I said, that was what I was expecting from the Demacia, from the Lulu Queen list. To put itself on the board way faster, way more consistent than the Lulu Shen list.
Yeah, it seems like it's gonna be a Young Witch into Lulu over here for Blackhole.
Let's see if Pynex has to say something about that. He's actually running single combat. Let's see if the Lulu Shen list... No, the Lulu Shen list is just running Ranges Resolve as a 2-off and Relentless Pursuit as a 2-off. It's very minion oriented, while the Lulu Queen list is more value oriented, also running spells like Single Combat, like Riposte, Ranges Resolve, which we have seen, and a copy of Back to Back.
So we have 3 supporters on the lineup right now. It really depends, you know, up to Blackhole how he wants to place these creatures. So what do you think is the best way to attack?
I think this is the best way to attack, just because your Shen is under no threat. When your opponent has 2 mana, maybe just a single combat if your opponent blocks it at 1, and then single combats with the 3-2, or the other way around.
Yeah,
but so far his decision seems to pay off.
So here we have an help picks in a Shen coming in. So Blackhole kind of have the whimsy to deal with the Gen if he wants to. And
Well, I think you wins in now if you want to. You don't give your opponent the opportunity to clear one of your units. Or maybe you do that so your opponent doesn't remove the 1-1.
yep,
That's the only real consideration.
and also he have to help picks onto the Lulu as well, so that the Fleet Feather Tracker don't get his hand into it.
Neither Fleet Feather Tracker nor the Loran Protege can kill that Lulu now. Well, so far, still Pynex has the wider board that he can play with, and I think it's to his advantage. Not sure about the attack with the squirrel though. I don't think you want to kill your Genevieve when you know it's going to come back the next turn.
Yep. I mean, he could transform the squirrel into 5/5, and the squirrel won't be dying that turn. I guess.
Don't make me flamigify you.
Also, maybe the only reason you consider attacking with the 1-1 is because what your opponent going to do? Decide to block one of your other minions that deals more damage, or just block a 1-1 and decide that he wants to take more damage to the face, kind of use his health as a resource.
Probably gonna attack with. Yep. Here we have a Lulu evolving.
Well, we at least have 5 damage from... Not, excuse me, it's 4. It applies from the next turn. I think we might see... No, there is actually no need for range resolve, but Pynex might have another one just to protect his units.
So moving on to turn number 7. And Blackhole kind of have to go for the open attack over here.
Not really much that you can do. The thing is, your opponent can protect the Lulu as well with help picks.
Help picks cannot be stacked with on battle.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of a good thing.
Still, Pynex might have one of his outs in riposte if he has it right now, and it can manage to protect his Lulu while killing the other Lulu.
Yeah. But you know, you
But
have the
it's
Stand
not going
United
to be-
open as well.
Yes, that's the thing. And Shen is going to level as well.
Yep. So the Gen might be in danger if the Gen is going in for the defense. You know, he is.
At the same time, you kind of need to defend because you're dropping low. You know your opponent doesn't have many combat tricks, but you have to defend nonetheless.
So now this is really awkward for Shen right now. Giving it barrier, but he's unable to swap that position.
It has an awkward trade because you would generally want your 5-5 to clear the other 5-5, not just go in an awkward situation where it clears a 3-2, which Lulu would have already done, and your Lulu just survives, the Genevieve survives, and next turn it's your opponent's turn, he attacks twice, and he picks it up from there.
So if Shen actually gives Lulu the barrier second, right? So it evolves, and then the second barrier actually gets the buff, right?
I think they happen at the same time, so that's why it doesn't work.
Oh, so he kind of have to let the Shen go at this point of time, killing off the Gen, as he has the second Shen in his hand. So that's not too much to worry for Blackhole side right now.
Right now he needs to develop blocker so his opponent doesn't have his way with his HP.
So it seems like the Lulu is in a really dangerous position right now.
Depending on what Pynex has in hand, maybe he has a Lulu of himself. Or even more important, he might have a Queen and he can clear the Flower Child with that, or Lulu with that.
Passing the turn back to Blackhole, and that is the end of the round. Moving on to round number 8.
Nice pickup in the Screeching Dragon here for Blackhole. His opponent it seems that he doesn't have really many means to protect his units.
Ooh, and a
here
Windfarer
we
Hatchling.
see- And that should be lethal. It's no. Excuse me. I was looking at Pynex's SP and I thought it's Blackhole's HP.
If Pynex have a Relentless Pursuit over here, it's probably game for him at this point of time.
Let's see. He can for sure clear some of Blackhole's board, knowing that he doesn't have really many combat tricks. That Screeching Dragon is going out for sure.
Definitely.
Because
So
Blackhole doesn't have one of the Rangers Resolve he is playing in his deck.
So Pynex doesn't have that Relentless Pursuit from his side, and here comes a Citria coming in. So that
This
Citria,
is the
the Citria is huge. It could potentially close the game over here with only just 3 creatures able to defend against his Fearsome.
Let's not forget Pynex is playing Riposte in his deck, and that may get you an additional blocker. Well, now everything can block.
Oh, so it's gonna look really, really bad for Blackhole right here.
It also smells to me like that is going to be a Relentless Pursuit being played this turn or next turn.
And Pynex really have to move over here.
I think he should decide to pull the Genevieve if he wants to get rid of her. Well, he can still deal with that. But if he would have pulled the Genevieve with Citria, that would have kept more minions alive for him and more blockers available. Because Pynex might be able to attack next turn with a white board.
Right. So it's kind of down to who has the last value, and the Windfarer actually really has to go, or else it's just gonna be 3-4 damage going into Blackhole's Nexus.
As I emphasized every single time as I could, Blackhole doesn't really have a way to deal with the Henchling, and I think it's going to be GG. He only has Ranger's Resolve as a 2-off and Relentless Pursuit as a 2-off. No way to interact with his opponent in terms of spells.
Yep, and that should be it for this round.
This was actually very close.
Yeah, it really comes down to that Windfarer Hatchling that actually got him the game.
And you said you didn't like the Windfarer Hatchling.
I take it back, that Windfarer Hatchling actually won him the game here.
Now do you see the power of the Windfarer Hatchling? Foolish non-believer.
And a Gen over here to close the game. I think that is it. We get to see Shen evolves.
I mean, at this point, Blackhole cannot bluff anything in his hand. Really.
Yeah, showing him the Lauren Prodigy over here and just attacking with the Windfarer Hatchling should be enough to close off the game. And there we have it. Pynex taking in game number 1, and we will be moving into game number 2.
That leaves only the Diana Void, the interesting and spicy list that we have been talking about in the beginning of this round.
Yes, guys, so we have Blackhole sticking onto the Lulu Shen Demacia. So it's gonna be game number 2 over here with Blackhole against Pynex with Lulu Shen against Diana Vi. So based on the deck list over here, who do you think has the advantage? Right, straight off.
I think in this game, Blackhole should have the advantage just because he can protect his units. Even if a Vi comes down, Blackhole still has the barriers to deal with, or at least protect more of the units that he is actually valuing. I think it only depends if Pynex draws the Vi or not.
Right, and here we have a Solari Soldier coming in on turn 1 as usual, the best card, best 1-drop in the game right now.
Solid on defense, solid on offense, best 1-drop, arguably best 1-drop in the game.
It's just solid in everything. So here comes the Lulu.
And here might come the support chain. Depending on what Pynex has. Let's actually see how he can deal with this. He can decide to maybe go for another Solari Soldier if he has one in hand. He can go for a Solari Shield Bearer if he has one in hand. He has many ways to put this aggression off. And he's also running triple Thermo Beam.
Exactly, here probably a Mystic Shot onto the Flower Child.
And this support attack is going to be awkward.
And yeah, that's probably it for the support chain.
But that's just it. You live with the thought that you might sacrifice the Lulu. Never mind, Pynex doesn't have a way to deal with her. For now, at least.
Yeah. Here we have Pynex dropping down to 14 health, and here comes Pynex starting the Invoke combo. You know, what could Pynex potentially get?
For me, there's only one card that matters there, and it's Golden Sister. I've said it a lot of times. That card can wreak havoc so easily when you drop it. So easily. I think it's gonna be one of the first cards that might see a nerf or a change at least.
Yeah, here comes a Mountain Scry over here.
More chances to draw her. Nice.
More chances on Battle Sister.
Might Pynex actually be bricked since he's starting with this weird chain invoking?
And a Screeching Dragon for Blackhole over here. And
This is going to be a lot of supporting.
Ouch.
At least it dies. Kill it with fire, as some would say.
So here comes the support chain. Once again.
I think you still want to protect your Lulu with Shen, and then
Lulu being last, that could be the way.
I think you might also want to buff your warships to a 4/4. I know it dies, it gives a favorable trade, but the other trades are awkward for your opponent, and that's the line that Blackhole is going for. Because the other two, Shen and Lulu, are pretty much unblockable. And Lulu levels as well.
The 4-1 going into the 4-4.
And that's simply a value trade. I think everyone can take that. The question is, do you block the Shen and maybe try to kill it next turn with your attacks and some combat tricks, or do you just wait? The thing is, he can wait, but his HP is slowly diminishing. Yes, even more chances to draw the Golden Sister.
So
because this card gives more chances because you can. The sixth slot is usually a Golden Sister. Let's be honest.
Yep. It's highly likely that he's gonna get that Golden Sister. And if he could pull off that Golden Sister, I think that should be it for Blackhole.
Yeah, but he needs to put it on the board as well.
So here you have giving barrier onto the Lulu, protecting it, and a Screeching Dragon.
I mean, there is not really a way for his opponent to remove the Lulu now. Maybe just the Thermo Beam. We have seen one. Maybe he's just protecting himself against a second Thermo Beam that might come down on Lulu.
Yep, and a Traveler.
Even though
over
it's
here.
not enough mana to kill the Lulu right off the bat. He might just want to put the aggression of his opponent off, using Lulu as a blocker.
Passing the turn black to Blackhole. Honestly, an open attack here doesn't look too bad, right?
Oh, it definitely doesn't. You can protect your Shen, I think. You can protect your Lulu. I don't think you give barrier to Lulu. I think you give barrier to Shen if something.
Barrier
Just
to
because you can
Shen.
protect both Shen that has barrier, you can protect Lulu with Shen's barrier, and the Screeching Dragon is really going to be protected by the Ranger's Resolve if something happens. You might also decide to go for the slow plays and develop your board. Kind of just go for the clear on your opponent's board, not give him a chance to develop and do something crazy next turn if you leave his board unchecked.
Right, okay, we have the attack and leveled up Shen.
Okay, that Shen is not going to be dealt with pretty easily.
Yeah.
Depending on Pynex's hand. He might still have something like Static Shock, Mystic Shot, or Double Mystic, maybe Pale Cascades.
So Pynex taking that 3 damage from Lulu, going down to 5. At 7 mana, what could he do at this point of time?
I mean, not much. He could just develop the board. Solari Priestess. I think he might really be fishing for that Golden Sister we were talking about. I started this Golden Sister searching as a joke, but it seems like Pynex is going for that.
I mean, up until now, we haven't really seen a Celestial being played. Instead, they are all like invoking.
We've only seen the Charger, I think, from the Celestials.
And the Time Traveler also. So that's all.
Yes, and the Train Traveler. So that's the two. This third one should be good, or otherwise. Pynex, my friend, you are in trouble.
Exactly. I mean, probably we might see like the warrior coming down.
Well, that just protects. That it gives Blackhole the time to protect the Lulu. The Lulu gets the barrier as well. Shen's effect comes in. That means the unit that gets barrier gets +2 attack.
Protecting both his champion over here.
That's how you win the game at this point. If your deck is revolving so hard on supporters, you don't always win. But if your support chain keeps going and keeps going, you have a solid chance to do so. I think.
Ooh.
Oh, we see a
comet
see
over
the
here.
comet. Actually, was it the correct way to go? I'm just thinking at this point, not judging the decision. Which is more dangerous, the Lulu or the Shen? Maybe the Shen just because it helps you protect your units against everything, while Lulu just straight up buffs, it doesn't grant barrier.
Yeah. Going for the Bright Steel Protector. Actually, I'll go for the Gen.
Maybe he just wants to get the full value out of Genevieve. He wants to go for the scout attack, and that's why he is considering Bright Steel Protector on the Grizzled Ranger. He wants to scout attack and that attack not being called off, and then attack again.
However, he's going for the Gen immediately over here.
He could have also decided to go and barrier the Grizzled Ranger, then barrier the Genevieve with the picks help and then just get a solid scout attack in and remove some units while your units are under no threat.
So giving vulnerable to the warrior.
I think he just wants to clear that with the Grizzled Ranger, get it out of the way.
Yeah, and this way he has a wider board.
For how long? And is it enough?
Pale Cascade coming in. He has the Ranger's Resolve to answer this. Thus
Are you
Blackhole
going to
actually
see
has an
another
out.
one? If there is another Pale Cascade, things might be rough. He doesn't. His attack is... This attack is looking scarier and scarier every time I look at it. Also, Blackhole can decide to buff his Genevieve with Lulu, and that way she keeps Genevieve out of harm's way, and it also protects his and also the other units have enough HP so they can sustain themselves. They are not really in any danger.
Becomes a Solaris soldier, and Blackhole actually has the whole board right now. Is Blackhole able to push in that last 5 damage against Pynex?
Not this round, I think, but it's looking better and better for him just because Pynex's blockers are not really clearing or accomplish anything. Blackhole can just buff the 3-2, and that way nothing really trades favorably for Pynex. He just needs to block in order to survive, but he's not really accomplishing much by doing that.
Yeah, and here comes the attack from Blackhole's side. This could potentially wipe out Pynex's board.
I don't think there is a potentially there. I think this surely will wipe out his board. He might only decide to go for not blocking one unit, and he goes for that. He doesn't really want to trade everything. Maybe he tries to find some of his tricks as well. Not sure what's saving him though.
So here have the dragon leveling up once again to 7-7 with the Fury. And another copy of Hellpix.
Can Pynex find everything in his hand? He certainly has the card advantage, but if you look at the board advantage, there is clearly one winner, and that's Blackhole.
Unless Pynex comes in with like a Phoenix or something, that could really change the game for him.
Yeah. If we see the Immortal, yes,
Yeah.
things might be different. So far, it doesn't seem like that.
Here we have he attacking with the Diana.
What combat tricks might he be waiting on, since he's not using 9 of his mana, specifically 8 for the minion mana?
Unless he has like an obliterate the whole board. Is there such celestials?
I think we have to look over them, but I don't think there is such a thing. There shouldn't be. Just Supernova, which obliterates 2 cards. But that's it. No, there is no such card that can obliterate everything.
Supernova is probably the best one that he could have.
He's definitely fishing for something, but I think if you want to fish for something, you do that in the first place, because you know what you can play with. Now it's kind of over. If, for example, he would have found the Golden Sister in this invoke mechanic, he could have maybe survived additional turns. He decides to remove the bigger threat in the Screeching Dragon, but his opponent still has a scary board, and he's not afraid to swing off it, I can tell you that. Well, one dies, one comes back. Another Screeching Dragon for Blackhole.
So here we have Blackhole going for the attack, and this is probably the last turn for this game.
I think so. Well, What can you do, Pynex? Judging by his spells, he cannot do really much.
So star shaping is
His
not
spells
enough.
can
Yeah,
also his his spells are kind of for cheap damage, not really hard removal in combat. And here we are having a 1-1.
Yep, here we have a 1-1 moving into the finals. You know, going on to game number 3 is gonna be head to head with Blackhole's Diana Nocturne up against Pynex Diana Vi. So could Blackhole retain his title as a champion of this series of tournament, or could we have a new champion this round by the name of Pynex? It all comes down to this particular game right here in game number 3. So Casmin, who has the better upper hand? Who has the upper hand in this game?
I would maintain my affirmation. The aggro player will come on top. He can just race so much faster than his opponent can clear or put the pressure on the board for himself.
Exactly.
Black and the fading memories. He finds a 1-drop, that's perfect. He can use the fading memories for a huge attack for next turn maybe. With
Shadow
another
Stalker.
Solaris Soldier.
So he's just going for the open attack over here, securing 2 damage into Pynex's Nexus.
He could have also gone for the elusive, but that would end in the same net result because it's still 2 damage that is going in, and your opponent doesn't really have a way to deal with it besides maybe mystic shotting or stuff like that. If you put units on the board, you subject yourself to removal, and I think Pynex was Blackhole was fine if this Solar Soldier would have gotten Mystic Shock, just because he could develop safely after.
It seems like Blackhole is going for the Solaris Soldier over here, and maybe going for the Shadow Stalking. Stalking Shadow, sorry.
If you would have had a Diana only.
Yeah.
Not a Diana, a Leona in his deck. She might even level. I think only Solaris Soldier is the Daybreak actually. So Diana, when Leona wouldn't have leveled that easily.
Yeah, we have a Nocturne off the top over here.
He might consider going for Nocturne just because he can safely attack with everything after. And that Crescent Guardian is such a big pickup.
Crescent Guardian could potentially win him the game later on with the Overwhelm tag, passing the turn back to Pynex.
I think passing that turn means he wants to go for Nocturne, but he wants his opponent to play maybe another unit so he can go for Nocturne safely, have his opponent not have a blocker against this Nocturne.
Yeah, and here we have the shield barrier over here, making it really awkward for the Nocturne to attack.
Well, Blackhole can still remove the messenger at least. But that's everything he's going to do for this turn, and potentially from next turn forward, he can put his Nightfall units on the board, level Nocturne, get a nice attack in.
Yeah, but here comes the Vi coming in. It seems like the Nocturne is in deep trouble.
Well, not really in deep trouble, because what's really happening is you trade a 5-drop for a 4-drop, if you look at it. And I don't think Pynex, as you see, wants that. He wants to get as much value out of the Vi as he can.
And the Stalking Shadow coming in from Blackhole. Getting a Doom Beast for sure.
That's what you want to get from the Stalking Shadows. 5 damage that cannot really be blocked by your opponent.
Starting
This
it off.
Lunari.
does bring her.
Well, he could have had an alternative line where he could have gone for Fading Memories into double Christian Guardian and put the pressure even more.
Ooh. Seems like he only left with the Crescent Guardian play into Pale Cascade. That should be his best play for this turn right here.
Well, it still is, as you say, a solid play. Let's see if his opponent has a way to protect himself against all this overwhelm damage that might potentially get over the top damage.
Thermal Beam onto the Nocturne, unable to save it with the Pale Cascade.
Now the problem is for Pynex that his opponent has another Pale Cascade. He can keep one of his units alive with that, and potentially that unit might be the 5-3. And it is the 5-3 because Pynex decides to prioritize keeping Vi alive instead.
Here comes the Pale Cascade going for the kill onto the Vi.
And Pynex has no mana to do anything to save that Vi. Maybe his plan was to level Vi, but that plan is kind of shattered by Blackhole having the Pale Cascade here.
Pushing the damage, bringing Pynex down to 10 health on his Nexus. But
I mean,
Pynex,
you see 10 health, I see 6 because there's two Doom
Doom
Beasts in
Beasts.
hand.
and he has Atrocity ready as well, so anything could go at this point of time. Ouch, that Battle Sister. Yo, he could Fading Memories that Golden Sisters, right?
Yeah, he can. He definitely can. You are right.
And the Silver Sister is gonna stick.
Blackhole can still trade, take a value trade. But I think he can go for getting the Golden Sister next turn. That would be a good choice.
He's going to copy the Crescent over here. Killing the Golden Sister.
That's an interesting choice. Maybe he might have gone for, that's just my opinion, but he might have gone for the Golden Sister instead, just because he would have had an elusive that would have traded with the other elusive, I think.
Here we have two Atrocity in his hand. He's in a really awkward position right now as all his hands are Nightfall.
Well, if you have something to spare, I think you go and throw away maybe Crescent Guardian, so you get the draw from the Pale Cascade and buff the Crescent Guardian just because it's the same attack as it would have been if he would have been dropped as a Nightfall unit.
So Blackhole over here taking his time to decide what should be the first creature to drop for this turn.
I think you don't want to drop your Doom Beast just because it's over the top damage.
Passing the turn back to Pynex. It's looking really difficult for Blackhole over here. Taking the
Pynex
plus.
doesn't really need to do anything in particular because he has the wider board and the option to deal more damage to Blackhole.
And the Lunari Priestess. Yo, with the Silver Sister having elusive, it's gonna like just trample Blackhole over.
Well, he can go for Nocturne here and ease a bit the pressure, and I think that's what Blackhole is waiting. Never mind, it's not an elusive played on Nightfall, so he cannot really do much.
Face your heretic. I will be heard.
Well, actually, maybe playing the Pale Cascade there was the good plan, just because you can lower the pressure, Nocturne's Nightfall effect comes in and reduces the attack for the turn of everything to -1. So far, he might even be forced to let this through just because his opponent can play combat tricks. But if his opponent has at least one Mystic Shot, I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
He needs to play this Doom Beast here, I think, just to keep himself in the game.
Yep, so could Blackhole actually overcome this adversity? As like these creatures are all ephemeral and he could not, you know, kind of get himself out of this situation right now.
Invisible to the ignorant.
The elusive unit doesn't really do much, to be fair here. It's just a blocker against the 4-3 elusive and nothing more, nothing less. He needs to put at some point the Doom Beast on the board. He is afraid of the burn that his opponent might have. But you cannot really risk that at this point.
So going for the attack over here, only the golden sister, only the silver sister is able to block the Nocturne. And here we have it at Nocturne leveled up, going for the attack over here. Does Pynex have the answer for this attack?
He has Impel Cascade. A Diana actually, in fact, on the board. And he manages to put off all this aggression from Blackhole.
So Blackhole has the Pale Cascade available to save his Nocturne or even push in 2 more damage this turn. Saving his Nocturne, he's going for, gets another Pale Cascade.
That is actually pretty decent. He is still kept in the game, but that Doom Beast.
Oh, an Infinite Splitter coming in. He has to go for the Doom Beast into an Atrocity, and that could potentially win him the game over here.
Might or might not. We never know, just because his opponent is running 1 copy of Static Shock, 2 Mystics, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. So with 13 mana up and a Pale Cascade in hand, Pale Cascading the
Let's see, is the Atrocity play going to win the game, or is it going
so
to
this
be
is gonna
fizzled
be
by
the game winning Atrocity over here. Does Pynex have the answer? A Star Shaping over here is the answer for this Atrocity, and that is it for Blackhole.
And this game was so tense from the beginning to the end. You never knew who could really take it. At some point, Pynex has had and still has the whiteboard. At some point, it looked like this Atrocities and this Doom Beast might have taken the game, but after all, Pynex takes it home, and congratulations to him.
Yes, exactly.